Well. I never thought we would do this again. I wasn't planning on doing this again, but, things in life take a weird turn, and it's something I want to try to get back into, and we're going to start with this today. And first, for new people watching, my name is Steven Milhouse, and I am a writer, columnist, whatever you want to call me, for sporting news, and a blogger for Yahoo Sports for MMA and boxing. And I used to host a pretty cool podcast back in the day called the Fight Club of Chicago, and we had on, you name them, we had them on. John Jones, Ronda Rousey, Dana White, Chael Sonnen, Rashad Evans, you name it, we did it. It was unbelievable. And I've been doing a bunch of different articles and stuff for Sporting News and Yahoo, talking to the who's who in MMA, boxing, and the world of professional wrestling. So this is a new venture. It is a new time. For now, the podcast is going to be called the Fight Club of Chicago. I'm going to keep it at that for now. I may change it in the future, but there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of different ways I'm going to do things. Normally, I would not do a podcast like this on Friday. I would do it normally, maybe beginning of the week, middle of the week, but I want to do this as a test run. I kind of want to gauge a couple things, but this will be a lot more often. I promise. We will be doing MMA previews, boxing previews, WWE previews. We'll be doing recap shows. We'll be doing exclusive fighter, wrestler, boxer interviews, commentators, journalists, you name it, we're going to do it. And the reason I'm going to do this is because, hey, I want to. I have no time, but I'm going to make time. And there's something out there that was like, oh, well, there's too much out there. But, I know, and I feel very confident in saying this, that I deliver something that a lot of other people don't. And that is interviews with the best fighters, and the best fighters, wrestlers, MMA, boxing, and pro wrestlers in the world. And my track record speaks for itself. I've named some of those guys. I've talked to guys like Randy Orton, John Cena. Who else was see? Roddy Piper. We might keep going. Adam Cole. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've talked to the who's who in wrestling, MMA, boxing. I've talked to the likes of Canelo Alvarez. Amir Khan, Kell Brook. Just to name a few, Gary Russell Jr. I'm just thinking of guys who are fighting, someone who's fighting this weekend. So I'm trying to think of Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman. Man, I've talked to everybody, and James Toney, Roy Jones, you name it, I've talked to them. The list goes on and on. But that was then. This is now. It's something different, and this is going to happen. I feel like it will work. I promise you. We'll do video interviews. We will do audio. There will be a little bit of everything and anything. We're trying video for today, see how it works. But no, there'll be recaps after and previews of every show. I promise. And we're going to see how this works. We're going to see how it goes, and I'm going to stick with it. And, I'm very appreciative. There's a lot of people to thank. There's a lot of people I want to say hi. Please watch. We'll start there. Please watch. I don't beg, but, the more you watch, the more you rate, the more this could work. And this could be something that I feel I can get really back on and make it worth my while, because you guys deserve to hear stuff you don't hear from other outlets. And I ask the tough questions. I don't ask these cookie cutter nonsense questions. I don't feel like that's fair to you. It's not fair to me. I'm in doing my job as a journalist, because in journalism, you should ask the tough questions. Should always should be about the tough questions and stuff you want to hear. Now, I don't have a personal preference. Am I a fan? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's what you guys are reading and what you guys are seeing and what you guys are listening to. And that's what you guys expect. And that's what you guys deserve. So that's the way I do this. I don't go out of my way, but I want to make sure you guys get what you deserve. And I feel like that is the only way to do things, in my own humble and honest opinion. But be a lot of stuff. You can find me on, you can find everything on iTunes. But I would prefer you guys start watching on YouTube. Rate me, leave me comments, subscribe to this. You know, we were kicking butt before, and then I really got lazy, and that's on me. You know, life happens. You know, I had a baby, and my son is awesome. He's 9.5 months old. He's amazing. You know, I got a beautiful wife. I got 2 puppies, and I don't have the white picket fence, though. That's the one thing I need, is a white picket fence. But no, things going to be better. I'm with 2 great organizations, and and they give me a platform where sometimes I feel very lucky, and I feel like I don't deserve. But I am glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be a part of the community. But we're getting back to this. We're going to rock. But you guys got to help me out. I can only help you out if you help me out. So you will know what I mean later on. But if you help me out, I promise I will give you everyone you want. I will deliver. And if I got to go through the ends of the earth, I will make sure you guys give me a hit list of who you want. I will do everything in my power to make sure you guys do get what you guys do deserve. But we will start, and today we will talk about lots of things. Mayweather, McGregor, Bellator, UFC, WWE. We'll start with Mayweather and McGregor, and I know this has caused a lot of conundrums. This has raised a lot of hell. And, you know, a year ago, no one really thought the conversation would still be ongoing. And instead of now becoming a pipe dream, it is now looking like more and more it's going to become a reality. And you have one half of that equation done, and you have Floyd Mayweather. Now it's up to Floyd. You got Conor McGregor coming in terms with the UFC, in terms of what he's going to get, what the UFC is going to get. And that was the easy part. The easy part was getting McGregor on board, because McGregor really wants this, and Floyd, one would think Floyd would want it as well. And you look this down and you break it down. There's a couple different scenarios here if you guys really want to think about it. But you think about it, and then you think in terms of reality. At the end of the day, this comes down to dollars and cents. Will Floyd Mayweather get what he's looking for? And the magic number seems to be floating in a lot of people's mind, $100 million. The number's not far off. I think if you give Floyd that guarantee, then I think Floyd gets into the ring. I wouldn't go above and beyond. You got to remember, he may think he's the A side, but if you beyond Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Canelo, and he's done a couple, and they're 3 of the biggest fights in boxing. You got Mayweather, De La Hoya. Started with Mayweather and Oscar, and then you had Mayweather and Canelo, and then you had the fight with Manny Pacquiao. 2 of those 3 fights, he was the A side. And the fight did very well. But that was then. You have to look at now, and the biggest draw in combat sports is Conor McGregor. Based on history, you can make the argument, yes, Floyd should get the A side, and should be. And as he should, but I think the split should be closer than what many people are thinking. Everyone's like, oh, 75-25 Floyd. I'm thinking more in lines of 60-40, like what it was with Pacquiao. Just because that was then. Floyd hasn't been in the ring. By the time they fight, it'll be about 2 years. It'll be right a little bit before or a little bit over 2 years. McGregor's been active. He's the UFC lightweight champion. He's the one selling pay-per-views. He's the one selling on arenas. He's the one breaking records for mixed martial arts and for Madison Square Garden. So you look at the end of the day, it'll be a 60-40 if it happens. And I said this earlier on Fightful.com boxing podcast. We're at the 35-yard line. And when you get to the 35-yard line, you're on your own 35-yard line. Now, I should preface that. Your own 35-yard line. You still got a long way to go. The question is, you still need to get Floyd. Then you need the sponsors. Then you have the arena, TV distribution, pay-per-view distribution. And there's so much to this that still has to happen. The biggest obstacle is going to be Mayweather, because I think with the arena, TV distribution, TV distribution could be a little bit of a hiccup, and I think they could take a minute. But if you're really looking at it, I think it really just comes down to Mayweather and the TV stuff. I think the sponsorship stuff you can take care of, sponsorship split, the arena, get all that squared away. And then you can worry about Floyd. And it's just really just Floyd and how you divvy up the money with the TV networks and with Showtime in the UFC. And I think once you get that taken care of, I think then it could happen. I'm still not a believer. I'm not a believer in this. I'm really not. And my phone is. Everyone seems to be getting on. Man, I want to thank everyone already for retweeting. I don't honestly deserve that, so I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Always lose my train of thought because I kind of veer off and my mind kind of wanders sometimes. I think I have ADHD. I really don't know. But you want to look at it as if Floyd gets on board, and how bad does Floyd really want it? How bad does he want it? I don't know. And that's the one thing I think a lot of people don't know is how bad does Floyd Mayweather really want to get in the ring with Conor McGregor? He says he does. But you got to look at it. You're 40. You fought it'll be right around the 2-year mark. A little bit before, a little bit after. It should be a fight he wins, but age is a factor. Yes, McGregor's never had a boxing fight. I understand that. Trust me. That's why I'm not a big proponent of this fight happening. Even though it's the inevitable appears to be looming. But at the end of the day, this is all about dollars and cents. And it does make dollars and cents for this fight to happen. There's too much money to be left on the table for all parties. The UFC, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. It comes down to money. It's hard to pull away. But so that is the $1 million question. Will Floyd Mayweather accept fight? I don't know. I'll believe it when Floyd actually does it. He signs the contract, and then I'll believe the fight will happen once they're both in the ring. You can do all the press tours and the press conferences. When I see them in the middle of the ring, ready to go, then I'll believe it. But if you look at this, can be some of the greatest trash talk in the history of combat sports. Two guys that know how to sell a fight. Two guys that know what they have to say to get the point across and to get fans to buy the fight. There is no two better than Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. If it happens, I'm still not a believer. Sources keep saying it's still a long way to go. And I am a firm believer in my sources on that matter. So we're part of the way there, but we still got 65 yards to go until everything is signed, sealed, delivered, and we start the promotional tour. I keep hearing, I've seen some reports about August. August is too soon from what I've been told. It seems more likely like November. If this is going to happen, it will not happen on September the 16th. Thank you for not everyone wants to follow me. Thank you so much. Now, September 16th is out, regardless of what Steve Showtime, head of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza, regardless of what he's saying, that is not the plan. The plan is November, which kind of bogs things down if you're the UFC because it looks like George St. Pierre is going to return on that show. So that's where you run into a block here. But if it's going to happen in November, I think it's going to be with Conor McGregor. Everyone's saying, oh, if it was going to be August, they would have had to agree to this like yesterday. So for all that talk, not going to happen. So if it is going to happen, it will be sometime in November. I've even heard a date. I've heard like the first, I forget what the first Saturday in December is. But I've heard November is a date in November, in the middle of November is what I keep hearing at this time. Bellator's tonight. I mean, we're jumping from boxing to Bellator. Bellator 179. Actually is going on right now from that. I think it's that. And this is my fault. And I do apologize. It's from the SSC. Give me 1 second. I do apologize. I never look at my phone when I do this. And I do apologize. I don't want to butcher the name and I don't want to disgrace London. You don't want to piss off English people. That's not cool. Why are you going to why are sites going to see? That's not cool. From the SSE Arena in London, England. The card is taking place right now. It started about 2 hours ago. Almost 3 hours ago. Almost 2 hours ago. I take that back. Main event is Rory MacDonald against Paul Daley, and then co-main is former light heavyweight champion Liam McGregor against former title challenger Linton Vassell. I'm not a big fan of the tape delay. I'll start there. It is a Spike TV move. It's not a Bellator move. It is a Spike TV move, John Slaughter. And I talked to John about this during the I talked to him very briefly during the Rampage Jackson King Mo the Wall card that was in Chicago at the end of March. The reasoning they've given me is just a money issue. And I get it, but they did the same thing with the UFC, and that boggles my mind because why not just air the card in the middle of the day? Yeah, you're going to take a hit in the rating. Don't get me wrong. But if you air the card live and then air a replay in the evening like they're doing in prime time, I don't think that really hurts anybody. You know, this is a bad move by Spike. I know even talking to Scott Coker about this in the past, I know he wants to have every card live, which they should. I'm going to take drinks, by the way, during this. So don't worry. It's not beer. It is Coke. Here is some water. Always drink water. Water is good for you. So always drink water. I keep my drinks over here. I don't know why I had them over there. I do apologize for that. But looking at it, nothing should be tape delayed, especially when you have a big fight like MacDonald and Daley, especially with all the hype and the money they're paying Rory MacDonald. This card needed to be live, and I think they're not doing this fight justice. And I have an article up at Sporting News regarding this because you look at the fight's important. And this is MacDonald's the biggest signing in the history of Bellator. There's no doubt. The biggest signing in Bellator history is Rory MacDonald. No offense, not Kimbo Slice, Ken Shamrock, Hoist Gracie, Benson Henderson. It is Rory MacDonald. He's 27 years old. He's he's 18-4. He's a former UFC welterweight title challenger. He's one of the best fighters in the world, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. And guys like that are guys you want in your company. And he dresses nice. He knows how to talk. And I think that it's just a pivotal signing. And you put him up against a guy like Paul Daley, 34 years old, one of the hardest strikers in the front, another guy who's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. And I like the trend Bellator is going on here. And this is a trend I would continue, even though you have the big show in New York with Fedor and Mitrione. But you look at a lot of the other fights and it's headlined by Chael and Wanderlei Silva. I would honestly not do that. This should be starting up the trend. The trend should be you want guys like MacDonald and Daley. Then you could put guys like Fedor and Mitrione in the co-main, and you can have Silva and Son. Those would be the fights to sell. But then you have your headliner as Rory MacDonald and Paul Daley, and you could be Rory MacDonald against whoever. But I think they need to be going that route. This main event should be the start that Bellator is looking for, and the trend they need to be on. And I get why Scott Coker does it. It's a ratings coup. It helps with advertising money, and you make these companies make their money on advertising. I get it. From a financial aspect, I get it. But if you're wanting to build stars for the future, that's the way to go. You could still have your Fedors and your Wanderlei Silvas and your Chael Sonnens, your Tito Ortiz's, Hoist Gracies, and Ken Shamrocks of the world. They have a place if they want to fight. And if you want them to fight, they have a place. But it's not the way to go. Go this way. Because if you go that way, I think it's the best way for long-term success. Those guys aren't going to be around forever. They're really not. MacDonald's going to be around for a while. Paul Daley is going to be around for a while. You want to build around the guys that are going to be there later, like the MacDonalds and the Daleys and the Michael Chandlers and the Limas and the Douglas Limas and the Lorenz Larkins of the world. Those are the guys you want to build around. The Pitbull Ferraris, guys like that, not guys like Joe. And it's no offense to guys like Joe Warren and Tito and Chael and Wanderlei and Fedor and, guys like that. Mitrione is even older now, too. So there's no reason for these guys to still be around, like fighting at that high a caliber on high cards like that, when you can have where Chandler, you can go with that show headlining, and I get it. because the name's going to sell on pay-per-view, but you have Bellator MMA featuring Chael Sonnen and a long-awaited grudge match against Wanderlei Silva, and the United States return of Fedor Emelianenko against Matt Mitrione, and you can go off that premise and be just fine. In fact, you can go Fedor's first time fighting the United States in 6 years, I think sells, and it does sell. But this is a great fight, and it's an exciting fight. I think it's a great way for Rory MacDonald to make his debut. And I have MacDonald winning. I wouldn't be too shocked if Paul Daley won, just looking at, the way Paul Daley fights. But the problem with Paul Daley, he gets in these high-profile positions. And Paul Daley, for some reason or another, I don't want to say choke. Because if you could say, oh, look at that when he fought Nick Diaz in 2011. That was one of the greatest one-round fights I've ever seen in combat sports. Just a back and forth. Both guys fell down. Both guys had a chance to win. It was an unbelievable fight. It was absolutely amazing. But you look at this here, you're in Daley's backyard. I give MacDonald credit also for going to England when he really didn't have to go. The fight could have taken place in Canada, and there wouldn't have been there. I would have had no problem with that. And the card would have been live in prime time. But I think MacDonald just has more tools. I think MacDonald, though, also wants to prove a point. Yeah, he's only fought 2 times in 2 years, and he wanted that nose to heal and give it the proper time, which I get, and it makes sense. But if he's going to make a move, the time is now. He's getting the push. The push only lasts so long as you're fighting, and I think this is going to be the start of a big 2017 for Rory MacDonald. I think he runs through Paul Daley. And then the winner of this fight will face the winner of Douglas Lima and Lawrence Larkin at Bellator NYC on June 24th at Madison Square Garden. But if I'm going to pick a winner, I'm going to go with Rory MacDonald. I'll go with him by, I think it's going to be a 3rd round stoppage. I think it's going to be back and forth for 3 solid rounds, and I'm going to go with Rory MacDonald. But I wouldn't be shocked if the fight ended in 20 seconds. But I'm going to go with Rory MacDonald. I'm going to go with Rory MacDonald by stoppage. Then you got Liam McGeary, Litton Vassell. I think that's a great fight as well. I think Liam McGeary's got losing his title to Phil Davis, I think has a major, major point of root. Vassell's at the stage where, to me, he's more of a curtain jerker. Man, someone's FaceTiming me. I don't want to FaceTime anybody. But you're at that point. I don't even know why I have my ringer on. I do apologize for that. Man, everyone wants to get on the train here. But at the end of the day, you want McGeary can get back in the title picture. I think very, very quick. I think a win over Vassell does it. I wouldn't mind seeing McGeary and King Mo next. You got Bader and Ryan Bader, Phil Davis for the title next month. Maybe have a nice little tournament here. You can have McGeary face King Mo maybe at the end of July. Beginning of August, headline a show, and then they would get the winner at Davis and Bader. I think that would be an exciting fight. King Mo was supposed to face Ryan Bader, so I think that would be a way to go. I think you get McGeary back on track. I'd like to see McGeary get back to being on his feet. You're relying too much on his ground game. I would like to see it. I would like McGeary to let loose of the hands a little more, go forward a little bit more. I think he can win the fight. I think he will win the fight. I got a feeling, though, this is going to go to a decision, but I do have Liam McGeary winning the fight. In terms of viewers, and this is a question I get often, and I try not to I'm not a big fan of always talking about ratings, but we are in the business of numbers, and I think anything less than an average of 1 million viewers, I think, would really hurt here, and especially for the main event. The main event's got to do at least 1.3, 1.4 million, just because it has to show that the investment you made in MacDonald is worth their while for Bellator. Will it happen? I think so. Just because there's nothing on tonight, it's a busy fight weekend, and it starts tonight, and it starts off in an exciting way. But if you go there, if it's going to be 1.3, 1.4, I think it's fine. But anything below that, I think would be a little bit of a disappointment. I even think 1 million, I think, is a disappointment, just considering the investment they've put in him, and it's gotten a good push by Bellator. So I think a very big fight. I think just in terms of a big fight in the career of Rory MacDonald, not just inside the cage, but outside the cage when you're talking in terms of ratings. and things of that sort. UFC 211, which took place last Saturday. Yes, I know it took place 6 days ago. And an amazing card. Stipe Miocic defended. He did once again. He battered Junior Dos Santos to retain the heavyweight title. Joanna Jędrzejczyk beat the bejesus out of Jessica Andrade to retain the UFC Women's Strawweight title. Then you had, I thought, Damian Maia got one step closer to a title shot, and then Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez fought to a no contest in the headlining spot of the prelims. Let's start there. I agree with Herb Dean, and I'm not Herb Dean's biggest fan. I'm not very fond of Herb just because I thought, I think sometimes he's been a little gun shy, a little too slow in his reactionary time. But Herb Dean did the right thing here. How do you know when a fighter is intentionally kneeing somebody? Especially in that position where he's got two hands on her. We have the hindsight of replay upon replay, and we can look up at, if we're in the arena, we can look, us in the media, we can look at the jumbotrons and screens they have in the arenas. We have that advantage, and even at home, looking at our TVs. But this by no means should be Herb Dean's fault. It's not Eddie Alvarez's fault. It's not Dustin Poirier's fault. It happened. It happened. Accidents happen in fighting. They do. I don't think Eddie Alvarez had anything. He probably wasn't like, what? Dustin Poirier, you're going to put your hands on, and I'm just going to knee the hell out of you. Get the heck out of here. Get out of here. That's not going to happen. Sorry, people. Sorry to all the Dustin Poirier fans. Sorry to all the Eddie Alvarez fans. That's not going to happen. Eddie Alvarez is not going to intentionally do that. Eddie Alvarez needed a win. Dustin Poirier needed a win. Alvarez had a point. He wanted to get back on the winning track after losing his lightweight title to Conor McGregor at UFC 205. Eddie Alvarez wanted to fight to end like that. Get out of here. They don't get their win bonus if it's a no contest. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. So everyone needs to pump the brakes. Everyone needs to relax that it was done on purpose. Oh, it's Herb Dean's fault. The referee only has a split second to make that decision. There isn't replay. I don't blame Herb Dean. That's the instances like this means there needs to be replay. Plain and simple. Replay needs to be had. Plain and simple. Instant replay should be, every state should have it, regardless of where the card's at. And I think that's a problem too, just with jurisdiction and regulation and unified rules. And everyone needs to get together and make this decision of take the commissions out of it. And UFC somehow, one way or another, needs to be like, you know what? Replay is going to be in every state that we are holding a card, every country where we're holding a card. It needs every major sport has instant replay. The UFC keeps saying they want to be involved in the discussion of being a mainstream sport. Well, if you want to be a mainstream sport, get involved. Get instant replay. Every major sport has it. The UFC needs to get on the ball, and the UFC needs to have instant replay. I really do, because that really took away from what was a very good fight. Damian Maia, Jorge Masvidal. I hate it for Maia. I hated Maia 29-28, and good fight. And I give Masvidal a lot of credit. He was in some pretty bad positions, and he could have been submitted more than once. And you give Damian Maia credit. Damian Maia is the best grappler in the world. There's no doubt about it. And you give him, but you have to give Masvidal his due. You give him a lot of credit. I didn't have it as a split decision. I thought that was a pretty clear cut 29-28 for I almost said Jorge Masvidal. For Damian Maia. Dana White said he's next. Maia is still pretty uncertain on that, and you can't really blame Maia. You really can't. You have to be there. Dana White says a lot of things. Dana White talks out of both sides of his mouth, and I respect Dana White tremendously. And Dana White's been very, very kind to me in the past with his time. But in this instance, Maia deserves a title shot. Who at welterweight deserves a title shot more than Damian Maia? And you see Tyron Woodley, and I understand Woodley's position. Why do I want to face? Maya's not going to draw me money. That's why he's calling out Nick Diaz. That's why he's calling out George St. Pierre. I get it. It makes sense. Who doesn't want to make the most money? Hello. Sign me up. I'm guilty as charged. I'm beyond guilty of it. We all do. Who doesn't want to make more money? I do. You do. If you don't want to make money, you can go. That's fine. See you later. You don't have to watch. Not hurting my feelings. But he deserves it. Woodley kind of seems to be backtracking a little bit, but it's got to come to a time where fighters who deserve it should be getting it. It's 7 in a row. Who's on a 7-fight winning streak in the UFC? Not named Demetrius Johnson. Exactly. You can't take anything, and Cody Garbrandt. You can't take nothing away from Damian Maia. If you put Woodley and Maia as a co-main event, yeah, put him on a co-main event of UFC 214. Woodley wants to make money. That's a good way for Woodley to make some money. He made a lot of money for the McGregor fight when he was on the co-main for McGregor and Alvarez in November. There's nothing wrong with being the co-main event. If you got pay-per-view points, go make your money. It's not a bad fight. It's a high-profile position. I get Woodley wants to be in the main event spot, and I more than get it. But if he's not facing George St. Pierre and Nick Diaz, he's not going to make, in a headlining position, Tyron Woodley will not make that money. Should Tyron Woodley be a star? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But it also should be about competition. If you want to face the best, you got to beat the best. At one point or another, Woodley's going to run into Maia. And I'm not even saying Maia's going to win the title, but Maia deserves the opportunity. And that's what the UFC should be about. That's what fighting should be about. Fighting should be about opportunity and guys who deserve it. And it shouldn't always be about who talks the most. Sometimes it does to get what you want to become. If you want to become a star, Maia just wants to fight. He's not going to trash talk, and it's not in his nature. And I more than get it, and I respect it. Not always going to make the most money that way, but if you become the champion, you can't make your money that way. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade, man, at Joanna Jędrzejczyk, 225 strikes. Who connects 225 times in a 5-round fight? Do the math. Divide it by 5. That is amazing. That's an average of a little bit over 44 strikes a round. That it connected. That is insane. That is it's the most strikes in UFC history. Second most in Yes. Nick Diaz has the most for a 3-round fight. Joanna Jędrzejczyk has the most for a 5-round fight. And you have to give her a lot of credit. You really do. It's her 5th consecutive title defense. Andrade proved to be no match. And that was actually surprised. I thought Andrade would be able to get in there. The key was going to be what if she can get Jędrzejczyk on the ground. She did a couple times, but Joanna got right up and really didn't really seem to phase her at all. She is the best women's fighter in the world. Is she the best of all time? I don't know. She's on her way. And Dana White says she's going to make another title defense. She's going to tie the record, which is 6 title defenses by Ronda Rousey. If she does that, breaks the record, then Dana White says she'll move up to flyweight, and Joanna's made it more than clear she'll move up to flyweight. People say, oh, well, she's not finishing people. She's not getting the exciting finish. Every fight, you don't have to finish to be dominant. You don't have to have a finish every time to be considered great. You don't have to. Look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is great. Floyd Mayweather didn't finish a lot of people in the latter half of his career. Doesn't mean still people didn't pay to see Floyd Mayweather fight. Joanna Jędrzejczyk's exciting. I would pluck, if she headlined a pay-per-view, I'd pluck down, if I wasn't covering this for a living, I would still pluck down $60, $70. She's an exciting fighter. She's one of the best fighters in the world. She is right now the best female fighter in the world. Is she the greatest of all time? Wow, I just got totally, well, I said Cody Garbrandt. I made a mistake on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Yes, I didn't say Joanna. Thank you, Mike Finch. You're welcome. Forgot about Tony Ferguson. I did forget about him. Man, thank you. Yes, guys on 7-fight winning streaks. Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov. I said Cody Garbrandt. I should have said Joanna because now we're talking about her. John Jones is correct. And George St. Pierre, man, I dropped the ball on that one. Yes, Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov. We said Cody Garbrandt. Demetrius Johnson, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, George St. Pierre, and John Jones. Good for them. That's a lot of guys. How many of them are world champions? Cody Garbrandt and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Don't get me wrong. Tony Ferguson should get. Hopefully, he'll be fighting for the interim lightweight title coming up next. Hopefully, we see him and Khabib. I think hopefully they do get in there and fight. We'll have something on Cody Garbrandt in a moment, and we'll talk about George St. Pierre and John Jones in a moment. But you totally got me off track now, Mike Finch. Thank you for the. Thank you for the comments. At least you guys are watching and paying attention. At least I know people are watching this, and it means a lot, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you, Facebook, for popping up and telling me I have 4 notifications. You are not welcome. Thank you very much to Facebook. But totally lost my train of thought. Oh, Jędrzejczyk. What's next? Probably Rose Namajunas. I don't think Rose has much of a shot. Max Holloway. Max Holloway's got a great fight coming up against Jose Aldo. UFC 212, June the 3rd at the HSBC Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I do love me some Max Holloway. But I think that winning streak's coming to an end in a couple weeks. No offense. I like Max. I think Max is great, but I think that is coming to an abrupt halt in a few weeks. But back to Joanna. I think we got Joanna and Rose Namajunas, I think, coming up next. And then what do you do after that? Maybe the winner, Claudia Gadelha and Carolina Kolkiewicz. Okay, maybe. She's already beat both of them. I think the fight with Carolina, I think if Carolina wins, I think that would be the fight to go. I really do. I just think that's the fight that makes the most sense at this point. If there's no reason to run back a third fight with Claudia Gadelha if she wins, there really doesn't. Maybe you go with different route. I don't know. And I think it's really just dependent on who wins. I'm not saying Rose Namajunas doesn't have a shot. Every fighter that has a chance, every fighter that steps in the cage has a chance to win. I just don't think she's going to get it done. Stipe Miocic, he's awesome. God, just such accurate precision and I said this in a prediction piece I did for Sporting News. If he can get out of that early storm by Dos Santos, I thought it would be an easy night for Stipe. He had a little bit of a rough time in the opening minutes of the opening moments. Opening moments of the fight with leg kicks, and I thought that was a big. It seemed like to bother him a little bit. He didn't admit it after the fight, but it seemed to bother him for a bit, and then he went to work and he figured it out, and he finished off JES and. A great performance by Stipe Miocic. He made it clear he is the best heavyweight in the UFC, the best heavyweight in mixed martial arts. First, you need to stop talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. And I talked to a source in his camp, and he wants a fight with Anthony Joshua. You better start talking. And this is the case, and I know I said this earlier. Stipe Miocic can be a superstar. He's got a great story. This is where I blame the UFC. And this is why. He's got an easy story to prove. He's married. He's from Cleveland. He's a full-time firefighter, and he's the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. What that shows me is he's not getting paid enough. Show this guy the money. Give him a reason to quit being a firefighter, to get a full pension, retire as a firefighter so you can collect a full pension. I think the UFC is doing this. Is a guy you can build a company around. Good guys like this don't come around often. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't beat his girlfriends, his wives. He doesn't hit people with a car. He doesn't snort cocaine. He doesn't flash his money around in a vault. Like, he doesn't throw water bottles or monster cans or anything along that line. He saves lives outside of the cage. There is no reason Stipe Miocic should not be a megastar. Yes, everyone's like, oh, he doesn't talk a lot. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. How the UFC does not promote that is beyond me. I'd have Stipe Miocic doing every single interview. The story is easy to tell. He's knocked out. Look at who he's knocked out since that loss to Dos Santos in December of 2014. He stopped Mark Hunt. Yes, I said Mark Hunt. He has stopped Fabricio Verdum. He has stopped Alistair Overeem, Andrei Arlovsky, and now he just stopped Junior Dos Santos. He stopped gangsters. Gangsters. 4 of those 5 have been heavyweight champion of the world. Whether it was in UFC or Strikeforce, they've been heavyweight champions of the world. And he's knocked them out. Flattened them like pancakes. How is this guy not a megastar? So easy, yet so misguided by the UFC. And that's their problem. An easy guy to market. They sold out Dallas. He sells out shows. People want to see him fight. But you have to give the fans a reason to go spend $59.99, $69.99 to watch this guy knock people out on pay-per-view. Yeah, could he talk more? Of course. That's not in his style. That's not in his nature. If you want to sell yourself, I'm a big believer. And if you want to make it, if it's about making money, providing for your family, like a lot of guys say they do, step it up. Go there. I'm not saying go full Conor, McGregor, Floyd, Mayweather. Talk a little bit. Talk about what you want. Miocic is just a low-key, low-mannered guy. I've talked to him a couple times in the past, and he couldn't be a nicer guy. But if he wants to cement it, and now he's tied a record for most defenses as a heavyweight, which is mind-boggling in its own right. But this guy should be a star. There is no reason he shouldn't be a superstar. In terms of Anthony Joshua, get the heck out of here. Stop it. Tired of these MMA guys trying to feel like, oh, I'm going to go face boxers. Get the hell out of here. A couple MMA notes before we get into WWE. George, when we talked about George St. Pierre earlier, people were bringing him up. Yes. He's not fighting Michael Bisping in November. The fight is off. It seems like, and from what I've been able to gather, now, he will be, it seems like from what Dana White told ESPN last night, Bisping has hurt his knee, and Bisping said this on his podcast earlier in the week. He's still battling his knee issue. They had surgery on earlier this year, late last year. He will be fighting. It seems like they're going to make it. If they can't make the fight with Bisping and Yoel Romero, they're going to go the route of making Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker for the interim title. And you know what? If Bisping can't fight till later in the fall, I think that's the best thing to do. And if you make Bisping St. Pierre, you can make Romero and Whittaker for maybe August. Maybe September. I think that makes the most sense. Those are the top 2 contenders. Sorry, Luke Rockhold, you just lost. So you don't get to cut the line. That doesn't work. Shouldn't work. Winning. I think Rockhold will face Mousasi. You got Whittaker against Romero. You have that situation then starting to get figured out. Hopefully that fight can get made. I wouldn't even mind if that was on the July 8th show with looking like Cody Garbrandt's going to be out. And from what I'm told, it's not looking good for Cody Garbrandt for his main event fight against TJ Dillashaw at UFC 213 on July 8th from Las Vegas during International Fight Week. It's not looking good for Cody Garbrandt. He's having major back issues. He's getting stem cell work done right now in Germany. We are praying for Cody Garbrandt, one of the good guys in the sport, and hopefully they can get that rectified and we can see Cody Garbrandt against TJ Dillashaw. But it's not looking good for July 8th for Cody Garbrandt. John Jones, Daniel Cormier, keep talking. Love it. Cormier is right about everything he said. First of all, John Jones should not be. I have no problem with trash talk. Trash talk is fine. Don't talk about kids. Don't talk about kids and why. Leave family out of it in that aspect. And very low rent by Jon Jones. Pretty disgraceful, if you ask me. Jon Jones doesn't have much room to talk trash. You shouldn't be bragging about snorting cocaine. What are you doing? Why is your management listening to you? Absolutely terrible. Brutal. He just still doesn't get it. I will be in Anaheim for that fight. And I don't get it. Jon needs to keep quiet, settle down, and focus on the task at hand. Focus on Daniel Cormier. Yes, Jon Jones beat him. Jon Jones mopped him. Beat him. Was pretty dominant. There is no doubt Jon Jones won the first fight. But Jon Jones' life has been a living hell since then. How many times has Jon Jones fought since then? Once. Jon Jones' biggest enemy is Jon Jones. He's got no room. That's his trump card. He beat Cormier. You can run that. Continue to do it. You're right. But don't bring up the kids, family. As a dad, and Jon's a dad. That's the thing it's even more baffling about that. He's a dad. So Jon, stop worrying about hitting women with your car, pregnant women, and running off like a coward. Stop snorting cocaine, drinking beer, smoking marijuana, doing PEDs. Be the best fighter in the world. Be the greatest of all time. That's what fans want you to be. There's many people in their corner. I'm still in Jon Jones' corner. I want Jon to get his life together. Get your act together, son. I still think he needs to get rid of the people around him, the hanger-oners, the leeches of the world. You need to get away from them. But he won't. He's loyal. He's loyal, and that's his own choosing. But I think he's making a big mistake, and we'll see what happens coming up on July the 29th in Anaheim, UFC 214. I think it's also smart, the UFC, of having Jimmy Manuwa on that card, by the way. Just in case something happens. I keep hearing, what's the fight I was hearing from Manuwa? God, I don't remember now. I've heard OSP. Is someone I've been hearing for Jimmy Manuwa? Just so a stay busy fight for him. If either Jones or Cormier pulls out. And especially with something that close, until Jon Jones can get it together, I really don't know if Jon Jones is going to make it to that fight. But that is what's going on right now with that. Boxing, big night of boxing this weekend. Saturday night, we got Terrence Crawford, Felix Diaz from Madison Square Garden, live and only on HBO, and a good fight for Terrence Crawford. And Diaz, 2008 Olympian from the Dominican Republic, which in his own right is amazing and a story that should be told. But this is Terrence Crawford's time to become a star. He has to win it. It's a huge fight for Bud Crawford. He's 30-0, 21 wins by way of knockout, top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world today. But no one still knows about Terrence Crawford. And I think that's an atrocity in its own right. And he needs a finish. He's got to finish this fight. And soon he needs to grab that microphone in Madison Square Garden and say, I want Manny Pacquiao. Nothing more, nothing less. Manny Pacquiao, tell Bob Arum to stop being a scared old man and get your ass in the ring after you demolished Jeff Horn on July 1st in Australia. Drop the mic, CM Punk style, walk off, pipe bomb, call it a day. Plain and simple. I think Bud Crawford will win. I think it'll be a 7th round stoppage, and I think he'll remain the unified lightweight champion. WWE has a very big weekend. Yes, I know everyone loves WWE. NXT Backlash in my backyard. Yes, as I know, people are probably gonna say, "What's the champagne bottle?" It's the NXT Backlash. 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 It's the NXT Bac No, I did not drink champagne. And yes, there's a Pampers box. I didn't even notice that. Just looking at the screen here. NXT Takeover and Backlash from the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. NXT, I will be at with one of my good buddies, and I'm very excited for that. Headlined by Bobby Roode and Hideo Itami. DIY against Authors of Pain in a ladder match, and then a three-way for the women's title. Asuka. Oh, God, I forget the other two chicks in the match. I had it written down and I crossed it out. Let's see. Hold on. Hold up. And I do apologize. For this. But there's a lot riding here, and the champions are all expected to retain. But this is a really big match for Hideo Itami. Litany of injuries have really derailed his WWE run here. And it's a shame because I think Itami can really be a star. I really, really do. But he's got to be healthy. First thing, he's got to be healthy. And I just think really too, his style really hasn't translated well here. He's more of a hard hitter where WWE wanted him to really change. They really wanted him to change his style. I think that does him a little bit of an injustice in that aspect. And hopefully, this is the biggest match. I hate saying the biggest match of his career, but in terms of reality, it really is. It really is. And Bobby Roode is phenomenal. His entrance music is awesome. He's awesome. He's glorious. It's a big match for Bobby Roode. It really is. It's a big match for Hideo Itami. I think the match is going to exceed expectations. I think the crowd in Chicago is really going to help. But this is a really big match. I think more for Itami. Roode's likely to retain. And I think Itami goes to the main roster. But I think he really needs this match. He needs this match to be really good. There's a lot riding here. There's a lot on the line for Hideo Itami, and he really needs to come through here. He was one of the big signings when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and these guys came in. You know, he was one of the big guys that was signed with this group, and he really needs to deliver here. I think he will. I think the match is going to surprise a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't have high expectations for this match, but I do think that I think Roode retains, but I think Itami's going to more than hold his own. I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. DIY, Authors of Pain. The match in the lighter match, that's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. What Triple H said on the conference call with earlier today, I think he's going to Tommaso Ciampa will be in the ladder match. He hurt his ankle last night. It was a sprained ankle. Triple H said in his NXT conference call today he's going to be ready. He'll be good to go. And that'll be a great match. I expect the Authors of Pain to retain. And I think that'll start the breakup of DIY, but I think that will be an absolutely amazing match. The women's match is Asuka defending against Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross. That could be a little rough. Luckily, Asuka is amazing. Yes, Asuka is absolutely awesome. I expect Asuka to retain, and she will remain. I think we got some comments here. No, just those comments from earlier. Man, where's the comments, gents? You guys don't like me enough. Okay, I get it. Fair enough. But that is the situation involving that. Which should be a good show. About 8,000 tickets right now have been sold. It's a takeover. I think the show is going to deliver, and I think there'll be no problem with the show overall. And then Backlash is Sunday, also from the Allstate Arena. It's a 3-match show. You have Randy Orton defending the WWE title against Jinder Mahal, AJ Styles Kevin Owens defending the face of America, defending the United States title against AJ Styles. And then the much anticipated main card roster debut of the one and only Shinsuke Nakamura as he goes up against Dolph Ziggler. What closes the show is the $1 million question. I think you have to close the show with Nakamura and Ziggler. You really built this show around Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph and Ziggler. No offense to Randy Orton. No offense. No offense to the WWE title match. No offense to the US title match. This show is all about Shinsuke Nakamura. You're trying to make him a star. You're trying to make him a megastar. You didn't sign up for all that money for him to be third match from the top. Not going to happen. This will be the main. This will headline the show, and I think it should. I think if you put Orton and Mahal on last, considering Nakamura, Ziggler, and then Styles and Owens, that match is going to get massacred by the fans of Chicago. I know. I live here. I know the mentality of the fan that's always at the wrestling shows inside that arena. That same exact thing will happen. I guarantee it. But Nakamura and Ziggler, I think Orton and Mahal, I think Orton's going to win. I wouldn't mind seeing Jinder Mahal get a title run for at least a month. Give him a little, even if it's a couple week run. He's getting over. I think it's a little too much too soon, but he's getting over. And I like what they're really doing with Mahal. I really do. And then you have the situation with I'm getting all these followers here. I do greatly appreciate it. I'm not even giving my thing on Twitter. I'm losing my mind here. Oh, Mahal and Orton. No, I like where they're going, though. I like what I see with Jinder. I think, like, his match with Styles, I'd give it 3 stars. I thought it wasn't horrible. He was in the right spots at the right time and let AJ do his thing. I think he's got better than average mic, above average mic skills, and I think they can get him a long way. It's about crowd heat. You don't have to have 5-star matches to get over. You know, some guys do. He doesn't. He can get over by just being Jinder Mahal, and I think that can legitimately work. Time will tell. I'm not expecting the match to be good with Orton. Orton is smooth in the ring, if that makes sense, and that's not taking nothing away, and I respect the hell out of Randy Orton. But that match won't be better than the match AJ Styles had. The match will be okay. I would go with Mahal winning. I think they're going to go with Orton. But if I'm making a pick, I'd go with Jinder Mahal. Owens and Styles, that's going to be amazing. 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, the 2 best talents in the world. But the question is, though, is this the time to give AJ Styles the U.S. title? Probably not. I would go with the DQ finish here. I wouldn't, or have Owens cheap shot his way to win, cheat the win somehow. This would not be the time where you go and you pin AJ, you don't pin Owens. I think you do a DQ finish. I think this match is going to, or a lowbrow finish. I think this match is going to be really good. I expect it to steal the show. I think this will be the show stealer. I think it will be really, 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 really good. If they're given time, if they're given 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to do their thing, I think this match will be really good. I'm going with the DQ finish or Owens retains by cheap tactics. And then Nakamura and Ziggler. Ziggler's an amazing worker. This is a huge match for Shinsuke Nakamura. This entire show is built around him. WWE doesn't do that for new coming talent like this. And this is a big match for Triple H. He really pushed Nakamura to be in this spot. Nakamura has to deliver. This isn't an instance where Nakamura cannot deliver and just get by on being Shinsuke Nakamura. He's got to deliver in this match. I think he will. When he needs to, when the pressure's on, when the heat's turned up a little bit, Shinsuke Nakamura is one of the top 3 wrestlers in the world. He's the most charismatic wrestler in the world. He's got more charisma than anyone on that roster combined. That's a fact. Ziggler's a great worker. Nakamura is a great worker. This should also steal the show. If Styles, you can go Ziggler and Nakamura, or you can go Styles and Owens, and those would be the 2 best matches on the show. Nakamura's going to win. But I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing match. And I'm going with Shinsuke Nakamura. The event, by the way, is sold out from the Allstate Arena in Chicago, in Rosemont, right outside of Chicago. That is it for today. Wow, I don't know how long we went, but this was a lot of fun. It's good to be back. I promise these will not be on Fridays, I promise. There will be one tonight, though, after Bellator 179. There will be one tomorrow after NXT. There will be one Sunday after Backlash. We're gonna churn these out like no one's business. We're really gonna make a full bore run at this. But you can find the podcast on Facebook. Search Fight Club Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Give us a follow. Just click like. Promise. We've got 860 followers, 859 followers. So give us a like. Tell me how much you like the podcast. And a whole lot more. Go to Twitter. I'm at S Muehlhausen, MMA, SMUEHLHAUSEN MMA. Give me a follow there. And then I'm over 1,800 followers now. Woohoo! Subscribe to this on YouTube. Please subscribe to Fight Club Chicago on YouTube. More subscribers, more followers, more amazing stuff. We're also going to be doing something new where I have to make a living. You have to make, I need to make a living as well. And a lot of, I'm not saying I'm Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, or nothing like that, because I'm not. And those guys do amazing things. They get great interviews. I have to work harder because I'm not Steve Austin. I'm not Chris Jericho. But I know what my content is. I have to make a living. And I want to provide you guys, like I said, with the best content in the world. I do. And my time is I'm more than booked. And I want to give you guys everything and then some, because you guys deserve it. At the end of the day, you deserve it. You deserve the best. So I'm going to have news on where you can catch all this stuff coming up soon, I promise. I think by the Backlash on Sunday, I will make the announcement Sunday during the Backlash post-game show. I will have news of where you can find the exclusive content. You'll be able to watch exclusive videos. I promise, with top fighters and wrestlers and promoters in the world. I promise I will have something for you guys. So, from the bottom of my heart, for everyone who watched, exceeded my expectations. So thank you guys, all of you guys, so much. It means a lot. It is greatly appreciated. This is Steven Muehlhausen. This is the Fight Club Chicago podcast, and we will see you at the fights.